You're listening to the Welcome to the Rebellion podcast. Hey, Jay, are you ready? Because it's time to start the show.
For a lot of food tomorrow, I guess. A lot of stuff happening tomorrow. Before I begin, just like every time, want to thank Nine Line Apparel. If you want to get some great gifts for someone, go over to ninelineapparel.com and use the discount code drunk3po letter O. Get 20%. That's a big one. Also, if you want more of the conversation, check out my Patreon or think about becoming a channel member. Everything is in the description below, including the link to my guest. Before I bring her on, I just want to, I see everyone. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. I have been a fan of this person for a little over, I think, a year. I just love art. Like, I love painting and drawing and poetry. Yes, I like poetry a little bit. And I'm not really sure how I found Tabitha. I'm not really sure, but she probably tagged me and I happened to see it. So it's just one of those things. So I'll bring her on now. Everybody say hello to Dreaming Tabitha. Hello.
Hello. I just wrote a poem for you while I was waiting. Roses are red and violets are blue. There's no one more handsome on YouTube than you.
I mean,
there's your poetry.
I would say that was original, but you know, I get that stuff 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah. But I'm still obliged to say thank you.
Right,
so.
Right. You're at that point. I hear it so much, but I have to appear humble. Thank you.
I don't even know how that started. When people see me in person, they're just like, "Good God, man! What did that rumor start?" It's like, I know. I don't know. I don't know.
So much like Star Trek. Good God, man.
I'm just saying. Like, I'm like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, you know? Like, that's just like when people think of men that are handsome, it's like, I know, but it's like you think people that are like, you know, ripped up and
I told you, like 75% of a man's attractiveness comes from within for women.
I'm going to ask people that. You said 70%. Wait, women find, hold on. You said 70% of attractiveness come from confidence? Or personality?
Comes from within. Yeah, it comes from personality. A man's personality is what attracts women the most.
Okay. All right.
But it does help that you have a brilliant smile. And of course, I'm that weird person in the chat from time to time being like, nice eyebrows.
I know. You always talk about my eyebrows.
You have like really great
giant caterpillars crawling over my eyes.
I mean, I've never seen them up close. I don't know how bushy they might be, but I mean, from on screen in the pictures, I mean, they look well manicured, and that's a big thing for me and a lot of women is well kept facial hair.
Manicure mine.
Good. We notice. Yeah. We notice.
Not my hair so much. It's just it's getting to that time, you know.
Well, it's kind of hard to recover from hat hair, you know.
I don't get hat hair. Like I get it just gets all I gotta do is a couple. Nice. I'm ready to go, you know. Then we got like night on the town, you know, hanging out on the corner, gonna watch a movie. You know, I can get the Superman curl like really easy. So it's one of those things. So.
I can't do that. You know how long it took me to do just this?
I gotta rip the merchandise, man. I gotta rip the merchandise. And as you can tell, I'm wearing one of Tabitha's t-shirts that was gifted to me by someone in the chat named Lulu. So thank you for the t-shirt. And then, of course, if you didn't know, Tabitha actually painted this picture. Wait, which one is the original?
Right here.
You got the original?
Of course I have the original.
I don't have the original. I have a print.
Well, okay. Let me just say, yours was the first ever to come with a background. And this one, when I finished drawing it and coloring it, and I signed my name on it, it was not until I uploaded it to the computer that I realized I totally forgot her armband, the tattoo with the red rectangles on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of important. And so yours, I had to digitally put that on there in Photoshop. So yours was the, like, I was about to like release to the masses. And I'm glad that I caught that because, you know, Star Wars fans can rip you a new one. And so yours was the first ever printed. Yours was the first ever created, printed, seen.
All right, I'm gonna say this. I appreciate it. I really do. But I thought it was an original. That's why I went and spent like a brand new car on a guy that created a frame just for that. With
I
his
can't
hand.
help your presumptions.
I went to because that picture there was a gift from somebody, and I took them both. I wanted to get it special, so I went to a special framer. The guy, like, he makes all this stuff by hand, and I'm like telling him, "Yeah, it's an original. It's an original print. That's okay. It's okay. All right." I still love it. I mean, it's on the. It made the wall. You know, it made the wall.
I know that when I saw that up there, I was like I mean, I watch the channel for you and your guests and everything like that, but my eye always goes to that place on the wall, and I'm like
to the picture. Yeah, you know, it took me like 3 days to like look at this backdrop here. It's like I got special lights, and there's still more to. I still have to do more. I'm trying to look cool, all right? I'm trying to be more presentable. Before I used to have posters. Like all my posters are still there from like the old days. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. And I've been giving them away, actually. I was like telling some of my members, my YouTube members, I was like, you guys want? I have like that Revenge of the Jedi poster that everybody wants. So I
try to be cool with my background too, but then it was just like at the end of the day, I have to live here. I can't just make everything look pretty for everybody else. I need to like it. And I'm not totally satisfied, but like I'm sending this back to the person that sent it to me. This will probably get eaten after the new year. So just like
eaten?
Yeah. This is gingerbread. It's a gingerbread Stargate. It's completely edible, even the blue stuff in the inside.
Did you make that?
I did. Did you not watch my video, my latest YouTube video?
See, this is why I like talking to artists, because when I think of gingerbread stuff, I think of gingerbread house. And every year, me and my family, just honestly, my brother, we always buy the most ridiculous gingerbread house and try to create it. And it just never, I don't know why we do it every year, but we try. It's like a thing. And we're like making it, and it just, you know, you look at the box and you look at the gingerbread house and you look at the box and you're just like, yeah. Anyway, before we continue, some people just don't have that touch. And here you made a Stargate. Real quick, my main man is here. Thank you for the $5. I don't know why, but Tabitha reminds me of Haley Atwell. Did I say that right? Haley Atwell.
I hope it's a compliment. Yeah. I'm not familiar with.
It's a compliment. My man Prime here he's a good dude. Wow, all the women in the chat are agreeing with you. Robert Crawford for 10. Jay's the most interesting man in the world. What's up? From Orlando?
That would be the Dos Equis man.
Yeah, people are saying that I have more stories than he does.
Probably because you're real.
That's true. Like right now, I'm drinking my Bumble Christmas eggnog surprise. I don't even know what's in this. Like, there's no alcohol. I can guarantee that. But I think it's eggnog and coffee. Anyway, Robert, thank you for the 10. It's not the best. And Lulu, thank you for the $10 super sticker. Look at the love in here. Look at all the love. If you're a mod here, would you mind dropping Tabitha's YouTube channel in the chat? and
So you can see
possibly
how I
you have an
made
Etsy
this.
store, right?
I do.
Yeah, if you could find that, if you could just put that in the chat every now and then. So people are not happy about the
Where
eggnog
you
and
can
cookies.
buy authentic, one-of-a-kind, original Cara Dune posters that are not at all like Jay's.
No, like what's up with that? To make
Did
matters
I not?
worse, like it's okay. I forgive you. Just don't let it happen again.
I didn't
Anyway,
ask for your
my
forgiveness.
are you able to
Didn't
pull that gingerbread thing? Are you bring it over?
Yeah. Did you not? But did I sign? I think I signed your poster though. I don't have the opportunity to actually physically sign my posters. So when I make billions of dollars using my brain, don't complain anymore. Okay.
Uh
I'm gonna have to take these out real quick. So no smack talking.
oh cool. Now that she can't hear. No, honest to goodness, like there's just something about artists and the things that they can create that are just it's uh it's quite amazing. And if you haven't subscribed to her channel or seen her Etsy store, the links will be in the description while you're listening. She went to go get and I'll try to describe it best for my Spotify people that can't actually see.
It
So what do we
reeks
have
of
here?
sugar. Here we go.
It reeks of sugar.
Oh yeah,
You made that?
I did.
Why did you make a Stargate?
Because I love Stargate.
Really? Like the
I
TV
do.
show or the movie?
Yes.
Everything Stargate.
Big SG-1 fan. I'm big into Star Wars, Stargate, and Stargate Next Generation. Like I love me some sci-fi, which is so funny because for years I've always been a fantasy freak, and I still kind of am. But I've just really gotten heavily into, and so I mean, like this is all. So these are graham crackers, and the rest, the base and everything in the Stargate itself is all handmade out of gingerbread, where I had to make my own templates and measure. And I don't measure stuff, but I actually measured this time. And this right here is Jolly Ranchers and lollipops melted together. I wish I had a
You
light to shine.
melted Jolly Ranchers and lollipops to make the screen.
I did. I was going to leave it blank, but my heart told me that I didn't want to really do that. And so, let's see, let me get my flashlight on here. And so,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, so this is 100%.
Did you just like wake up and you were just like, I'm gonna do a Stargate?
So in my family, we do Nerd Christmas every year for the past, like, I don't know, 5-6 years.
You do Nerd Christmas? What's Nerd Christmas? Like you pick a theme?
Yes. And we're big movie lovers and things like that. So what we do is we'll pick a franchise, and then we will do either food or arts and crafts or something like that centered around the movie. For example, when my brother first got married, his excuse me, his wife had not seen Lord of the Rings. We're big Lord of the Rings people. And so and we're not like watch one movie. We watched all of them. Christmas Eve, we watched all 3 back to back. And
that's over 10 hours.
And
saying.
Extended edition only.
Well, now you're talking maybe 12.
Yeah, like 13 something hours. So we had meals like the Hobbits for that. So we had breakfast, second breakfast, 11sies, afternoon tea, dinner, lunches, all that. And then one year we did do Harry Potter, and so we all made wands, and we actually used them while we watched the movie, and that just takes the experience to a whole nother level. Anyway, so we do gingerbread houses according to what we're doing as well. And my mom and I have always dreamed of doing something fantastic with gingerbread. Mine always go to a dark theme. I'm a pretty happy, chipper, wonderful, kind of cutesy, adorable person. But my gingerbread houses always go dark. Something happens, and they always, like my first gingerbread house that I did, I think when we were living here, turned into like human sacrifices in Scotland because
dear God.
It just, I was creating, I know it's terrible. I was creating a gingerbread house and I decided to make it a Scottish hut. And I created Loch Ness and I made Loch Ness out of the monster, out of candy canes. And my house started collapsing and we had one little gingerbread dude left over and he was burnt to a crisp. And we had these red and yellow Twizzlers. And this is just, again, this is just artistic creativity that comes from nowhere at the worst times. And I was like, this would make really excellent fire. And so I made a little altar, put the little burnt ginger cookie on there, shredded the Twizzlers, put it on it, and it looked great. So we just had to take...
Hold on a second. Hold on. Now, if you need to put that back on the shelf, you can, because I can answer a question. I think you should, because I think people want to see it.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, I know you have to take the headphones off again. Chris Coran for $2 says, I know one poster you won't be giving away. Of course, bro. That the gift that you gave me is on display in the main room. So, you know, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that one. But thank you for the $2. You know, like most of us, Christmas time.
I know.
We have a little tree, maybe some eggnog, tell old stories, you know, sit around the Yule log. I don't know, like people open a couple presents. The older you get, you don't really get presents. You kind of get like ties. Well, I don't really get tie. Like, what did I get last year from friends and family? I got socks, but like anyway. You guys do nerd Christmas. This is a thing with artsy people, everyone. Like you can't
do simple.
Yeah, you just can't like put a couple Christmas, you know, balls on the tree, a little star, a little choo-choo train. You go, we're gonna have a nerds Christmas, and then you went from nerds Christmas to like murder, you know, in like 5 minutes. So like,
I know. It just, that is like a dual personality thing that I have. I love, you know.
Oh, well. Let me just write that down if I ever meet you.
I know. Okay. I know this is a tangent here, but
hey Jay, how's it going? Anyway.
I told a girl from church this year, we were working on something and we're getting to know each other.
She's bringing up church. Even better.
I'm telling you, and she'd never seen Lord of the Rings, and I told her I was kind of describing myself, and I was like, sometimes I feel like I'm a dual personality, and I said, kind of like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings, and I said, you ever seen Lord of the Rings? And she's like, no. And you know when you get caught up in the moment and you don't realize how it sounds to an outsider, because you know what you're talking about. And I was like, oh, yeah. Smeagol, he's like these little gangly creature that like loves and hates things and talks to himself. I'm like, I just told this girl who has no idea what I'm talking about that I apparently identify as some creepy little two-personality person from a made-up world. But anyway, so nerd Christmas. We did Indiana Jones one year, and we made our own. We made our own idols out of Rice Krispie treats.
Okay, all right. I have to stop you right now. If you ever do Indiana Jones again, I just need 2 weeks notice. I'm flying in, right? I want an Indiana Jones Christmas. I will make whatever the heck you want me to make. I will come in with the Holy Grail, all right? I'll bring the Ark of the Covenant with me if I have to, okay? Like, just let me know, because that to me sounds pretty absolutely amazing Christmas.
We try to center the food
I'll dress
around
a short round if I have to. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'll sing Anything Goes, you know, like whatever I have to do. So just please put that down on your list. Tell your mom I'm clean. I'll be okay.
This year we're doing Disney because I have a niece and it's something that she can relate to. But we're making, again, food according. It's kind of like an international / Disney because of the different princesses. And we're going to make gingerbread themed. I'm going to make like a scenery. I'm going to do my best. Now that I've mastered the art of gingerbread, I'm going to try to make a Little Mermaid scenery with like coral wreaths and stuff like that. But it could turn dark.
It could.
It could easily turn into Ursula's lair.
That would be awesome. Ursula gets no love. And she
right.
has one of my favorite songs, Poor Unfortunate Souls. That song.
Yeah.
My man says, hey guys, love the model Stargate. Speaking as an ex-model practical effects designer, that looks pretty good. It looks amazing. And you can eat it.
It's been hard not to lick the Event Horizon over here because it smells like Jolly Ranchers.
Tabitha, what are you doing over there? I'm licking Stargate. I'll be right there. I mean,
again, no context.
You know,
if you don't know,
somebody
it's made
walks
out of candy.
in and you're like, you need a minute? Okay. Do I need to remove these toys from this room? Because anyway, Dr. Rachel for $10. Thank you. As a fellow artsy person, I can safely say that we do that too. Our tree has all nerdy ornaments and we decorate sugar cookies very intricately every year. Thank you for the $10. Thank you for the love, everybody. Thank you for the love. Now, do you record this stuff for your YouTube channel?
The videos of me making stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if people are curious, they can go to Dreaming Tabitha's YouTube channel, which we've been putting in the chat, and they could follow along with you making. You did the gingerbread one? Because I'm being scolded for not watching it.
It's right. I did a video for this one. Of course, I have this one here that got me the most views on my channel. And then I have one for my 100 subs playlist button. And of course, for my original one over there. I do have a video coming soon for this helmet.
100 subs playlist button?
Yes, you saw that. You comment, unless you just commented on there because you.
I did see it. Well, I'm just for the audience that doesn't know. I was trying to lead you in.
Sorry.
That's how we do things here.
I have since surpassed that. But I do have a video coming with this helmet that was given to me. Somebody liked my art style stuff. I don't really know. They liked what I did and they said, hey, I make 3D printed helmets. If I send you one, would you like to paint it? You can do whatever you want to it. I'm like, yeah. So, I have done a sci-fi crossover with this helmet, and I really don't like the idea of having to send it back to him because I've fallen in love with it. But it was super fun.
Did you know you wanted to when did you start doing artsy stuff and you were like, this is what I really love doing? Were you like really little? Was that just something like the family did, or was it
my mom?
Has it always been like that at your place, or?
Yeah, I mean, my mom is very artistic, very crafty. My brother, in a different way, he's a little bit more architectural, and he's a phenomenal builder. Magic with building. I can't build squat. I used to get mad at him with Legos and like break his stuff when he wasn't looking. I told you, anger. And I just was mad that I couldn't do it. But I've been doing arts and crafts, and we were homeschooled for many years because we were a military family, so we traveled a lot. So that just was an easy way to also do things together and all that kind of stuff. But as far as when did I realize that it would, like, do you mean like when it was my calling, when I realized that?
Sure.
Okay. That's, I guess, as far as doing it full time, like it being who I was, probably about 4 years ago, where I realized this is what I'm meant to be doing. And the way that I knew, because I've been battling for a while. I used to work at a paint studio where I taught adults how to paint, and that wasn't working. I worked there for almost 3 years, and it was great, but there were things that were happening where the creativity wasn't really being allowed, and it was turning more into a business than a creative way to help people and help other people reach their own levels. And I was battling whether I should quit my job. I'm a very committed person too. So I was like, I've only been working here for 2.5 years, but I was like, it's time to move on. And what sealed the deal for me, that also like what was my career choice? What should I be doing? Is that I was vacuuming. And when I vacuum, I like to put patterns in the carpet. And
all right, hold on. I'm sorry, chat, and everyone listening. I have to pause because I consider myself an artist too. So you find it, but I do musical stuff. And so the painting aspect and all that, like creating with your hands and everything is really very interesting for me. So I just want to make sure I heard this correctly. When you vacuum the floor, you make like crop circles to talk to aliens or just designs?
It just depends on the day. No.
Depends on the day. Today's Little Mermaid. All right.
I do that Pirates. I do that when I cut grass. Sometimes I make circles in the yard and just look. I'm trying to tell a story here,
Artist
Jay.
People.
It was when I was vacuuming. I was making I know it feels silly. I was making palm trees in the carpet.
Oh.
And I do that all the time, but all of a sudden when I did that, I like saw it and recognized it for the first time. Like, I'm making patterns in the carpet. Everything that I do pretty much is it doesn't matter if it's gardening, it doesn't matter if it's cutting the grass, vacuuming. Even when I clean the soap scum from my bathtub, I like to make little designs in there first before I erase everything all the way. That's who I am. And that was when I realized I need to pursue this as not just a hobby, not just something. This is just, it flows through me. It's just naturally. I didn't even realize that it influenced pretty much everything that I do. And so that, to answer your question, like that's just how I knew. As far as the medium choices, I mean, obviously you can tell that I do a whole bunch of different kinds. Painting, I taught myself how to paint.
Let's see. All right, before you get into that, I think that you taught yourself how to paint. A lot of times people think that a painter or an artist, it's just not like you just start off like Picasso, right? It takes a lot of dedication and work, right? To figure out, I see you crossed your eyes at me, yeah. And that's what people don't realize. Like sometimes I was talking about this, my last guest, they were just like, oh, wow, you're just so talented. It's like, I get it. There's a level of passion, talent. But then even with that, there comes like a lot of work, like a lot of mistakes, a lot of but see, this is like getting inside the head of an artist, like seeing how they think.
Oh, you don't want to come up here. It's crazy.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating. So now it's like, all right, we got the crop circles with the
human sacrifices out of gingerbread.
Yeah. And so, okay, so now you're at painting. So let's continue painting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like dabbling with painting again. We were homeschooled. We're already very artsy and stuff like that with my upbringing. But I used to draw a lot. I really enjoyed that. And then I met this girl on a trip one time, and she was just so good at painting. It was a different art style completely from mine, but there was just something about her. I admired what she did. And this was before I had made all my career choices and things. I was at that time working at a school, looking after children, and nothing really artistic there. Just watching urchins run around screaming at each other. And and she worked, I forget where she worked, but it wasn't anything artistic either, but she had such a passion for what and so good at it. And I don't know, there was something about that girl, and I've thought about it multiple times. There's nothing specific I could point about her that but it just influenced me to give it a try. And so I decided to paint. And the first painting I made was, and just speaking out of honesty here, was this beautiful painting of a full moon with grass coming up to here on the bottom. And I painted 2 minions, because at that time, Despicable Me was really big. And one was holding a banana going like this to the moon. And there was another one with his tongue out, reaching out to grab it. And I mean, it was a really beautiful painting. And someone bought it for a friend. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just kept kind of dabbling in that. And then my aunt asked me to make a sea turtle. She commissioned a painting from me. I don't know why, because I don't think she just knew that I was creative and talented. But I didn't necessarily have a portfolio for her to glance over. And to this day, I don't know how I painted this turtle without guidance, experience. This was before like YouTube tutorials, or at least before me knowing about them. And it was one of the most beautiful creations I'd ever made, even to this day. And I don't know how. And it just, from there, just kind of kept going. And only until recently, was it this year, I decided to dabble in oils, because before I'd only ever worked with acrylics. I'd heard magical things about oil painting. And the first real oil painting that I ever did was this one back here. And it was just a game changer for me. So pretty much everything now that I do is with oils. But as you can see, I still dabble and do.
All right. So as an artist yourself, I have to, this is where it gets a little weird. So feel free to say hi to the chat real quick, because I'm gonna show you one of my paintings, and you could tell me. I thought laughing. I had it right here, but I put it behind, just a little out of my reach. So,
yes. Like most things in life, it's right there, but just a little out of reach. Well, hello, chat. It's good to see you. I can't see you, so it's good to know you're there. Oh, here it comes. Make sure everybody claps with some emojis.
I can't wait to rip Jay's art. Wow, that's sad. Christopher in the chat said that. That's very sad. All right. So this is a Jay original.
I'm excited.
Before I show you this.
It better not be a stick figure with the dog.
It's not. It's a painting of the moon over a waterfall with mountains at night. And I did this in the 6th grade.
Oh.
All right. It's my 6th, and I've always kept it. I don't know why. So here's my painting.
Oh, it's nice though.
From the 6th grade. She's just being nice.
What is that upright thing over there? Is that an alien? Is it Stonehenge? What is this? Yeah.
That's a waterfall coming out of the mountain.
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought the waterfall was the little tornado at the bottom.
The moon shining down on the water.
Okay.
And I have reflecting the trees. So
I like the clouds. The cloud shapes are really cool.
Yeah, you could see there's like a big mess up right here, because it started off as like a zoo. And when I realized I can't really paint animals, I just I rage quit and just plopped this black over it, and then I had to turn it in. All right, so we went from 6th grade. Okay.
I've done that too.
We went from 6th grade now to 11th grade. All right. And
you finally get that zoo.
I realize when I do paint, I love like nature, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So this is 11th grade.
Oh, that's lovely.
Look at that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. It does look like an over easy egg is in the sky. But if you go underneath of that, it's beautiful. Like I can feel the frost in that. I like that.
Yeah, so I figured I'd paint Christmas trees in the snow. So
I really like that. minus
now
the
my
egg.
college, all my stuff that I painted in college, my mom has. So I don't have that because she was just like, "It's my boys. I gotta keep it." So
I have everything I made in college. Like my mom doesn't have any of my stuff.
yeah, I go and visit my folks, and sometimes like I think about it, and I'm like, Mom, I painted like New York City, like Central Park, right? I'm like, where's that painting? She goes, I have it, son. I have it. And I'm just like, well, where is it? I want to see it again. No, I can't get it out right now. Like they put it in a
It's too
box
much
somewhere.
trouble to go into the vault and get the access code. And
Martin for $2 says, Team Candy Corn, or are you a Team Candy Corn, or and are you Team Pineapple on pizza? Yeah, the real hard questions are.
Team Candy Corn, pineapple on pizza. I mean, you do you, as the kids say these days, but don't. I don't like pineapple on pizza.
Team Candy Corn, so you gotta love
Team
that.
Candy. Yes.
Thank you for
And you
clearing
have to
that
eat
up.
them in little bits. Like you can't eat the whole thing. It's got to be like, one color at a time.
And again, just to preface, last night I had internet problems, so if I just freeze up, disappear, then just carry on. I'll be back eventually. So, okay, so now we're fast forwarding. Now you want to make this into a career. How does one do that? How did you do that? How did you like, this is how I'm going to support myself. This is how I'm going to make money. I got to set this up because I ain't working back at not going back. I'm moving forward. Right. I know it just didn't happen overnight. So do tell.
How did it? Well, after many days of crying and self-loathing and you just kind of pushed forward. Just to backtrack a wee bit, it's a very unfortunate. I think most artists can agree with me here that when you go to school for art, it is great that they teach you art, but they don't actually teach you how to be an artist. They just teach you how to make art. So in order to be an artist, you need to understand business. You have to. And me not having a natural gift with numbers, that was very difficult too, to figure out how to price things and whatnot. So it's been hard. How did I do it? Well, I got another job, but it's artwork as well. I teach kids virtually how to paint. It's pretty much like my old job, except that I get to dictate how much I charge, and I get to dictate what paintings and how many kids in my class and all of that stuff. So it's almost
like I'm a teacher.
I'm an art teacher.
Like private teacher?
So it's through a platform called OutSchool, and it's really great. It's a great way to learn anything. If you want to learn about the history of gnomes, you can learn about it on OutSchool. It's just that you have to be in school. But
we have something like that here in Florida too. That's how I started getting piano students as well. But I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. So
and OutSchool's based out in California. But yeah, so I signed up for that. And before that, I was basically God was meeting my needs here and there. I wasn't making oodles of money, but I would make and that's always so irritating sometimes, making just enough to buy gas, or just enough to buy that friend's birthday present, but never overflowing the bank account. And I'm still not quite there yet, but I do hope to be there one day. But to see how, and that's one way also, one reason I know that I'm on the right path, is that I can see God meeting my needs. There are many a struggle. It doesn't, matter what medium you're working with. The struggle is there because you have to make yourself known, and you have to work hard, and you have to fail. And I hate failing. And so, I mean, I just move along, and then I had my Etsy store. I was going to vending events, and I was going to like dog shows and stuff like that, or not dog shows, but like dog events and setting up a tent and just putting up, I would do dog themed or pet themed artwork. And it was an eye-opening experience to see the real world, because artists tend to live in their heads, and just to see what the struggle really was when you really go all in and you invest and you believe in what you're doing. I can see why a lot of artists, the great artists of the past, why they went into to depression or potentially committed suicide. Because if you don't guard yourself, because I've been there as far as the discouragement and sometimes the despair and the depression. If you don't guard your heart, guard your emotions, it's very easy for that to overwhelm. And artwork also, you're putting a piece of yourself into whatever it is that you're making. And that was one reason why I was very hesitant to send you my poster, my picture, because I mean, as much as I knew you were, of course, a Cardoon fan, a Gina Carano supporter, like I told you, it's a very cutesy, girly doll kind of looking figure. But something was like, I want to send that. I've never sent anything to a YouTuber before. And so just something.
So I was your first.
All
right, so that makes it more special now. That makes it more special.
Yeah.
And the first present she sent everyone. Yes.
I was very hesitant to do that, but just a small part of me was like, just do it. And because like, what if you would have been like, that's nice. Thanks. That's, obligatory thanks, like, is the worst. And
you didn't realize I went and got it framed. Now it's in all my videos. Look at that.
I really can't tell you, lest I start crying, what that means to me. Like, who am I? I've not been doing this. And the darndest thing is that these chibi
Who am I to make someone cry? I'm just a weird person with a microphone, for crying out loud.
It's not just the appreciation. It's the recognition. Like, somebody likes my artwork enough to put it on their wall. That astounds me. When people buy from my Etsy shop, like, I nearly cried before you got me into, when I clicked on the link and all that stuff like that, because somebody went and bought a whole bunch of stuff from my Etsy store. And I'm like, oh my gosh, here's God meeting my needs. And again, that just keeps me on track. It's like, every time I put something on my Etsy account, I'm always fearful that it's going to fail miserably. And when that happens, because that's a piece of me, I put a little part of myself out there, if you will, for somebody to hopefully buy and appreciate and put in their home, share with their friends. And when that doesn't do well, it's like I failed. It's like a rejection. And so for me to send that picture to you was way out of my comfort zone. But I've been doing more of that this year. But I knew that being an artist was what I was meant to do, and how I do it, it's a day by day thing. A lot of days I wake up and I want to make something, but I don't make anything. And then I feel like an even bigger failure, because like, well, why don't you just get off your butt and make something? But it doesn't work like that as an artist. I'm sure you've met other people, and you don't just wake up and be inspired. It was just really frustrating.
No, not even personally. Like, it's been like, since I've been in New York, I haven't wanted to work out. I've been wanting to I haven't been inspired to do certain things that I did before. So it's like, you want to,
but you don't.
I think about it. It's like, I should go to the gym today.
Yeah.
That was a nice thought. All right.
Right. And then all of a sudden it's Saturday and you're like, darn, I had that thought on Monday.
It's too late now. I'd rather play video games. Yes. No, I hear you, but it's when you're in business for yourself, it can be very, not only scary, but challenging, like you said, because you're just kind of waiting for stuff to happen.
Yeah, it's
not like it's not like you're punching in, there's a check coming. There's not, and but you took you took a chance, and so far you're still walking on water, you know. In a certain sense.
I feel like I'm walking in the water. Just like hitting
Maybe
me in
you're
the
like,
face
you
with
know,
water.
maybe you're just splashing around, but your head is still above the water. You
And
know.
that's what I have to look at. It's like I have to count my blessings. I'm not in a position where I'm homeless. I'm not in a position
Mm,
where I can't buy gas. And so the days that I need a specific amount of money, or I need to get something done, and I start loathing myself for not being better, for not achieving more, which I know is a ridiculous mindset, but it's just how it works up here. I have to
all right, so
constantly
yeah, but
remind
how do
myself
you?
of my blessings.
All right, so there, that's it. When you're like, that's easier said than done, though, isn't it? Though,
I
like when
have
you're
thought
struggling
about
with something and you're just kind of like, listen,
Mhm.
when you're doing something, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because everybody's different.
Oh, I will.
So it's like everybody's different. But when you're creating something and you're making something and you're like, I put my heart and soul into it, here it is, and no one seems to, you get the feeling that no one seems to care, it really does a number on your motivation for the next one. But if you
Yes.
put something out there and it's like, oh, everybody gets it, everybody loves it, this and that, it seems like, ah, well, let's get the next one out. And so there's more moments of I don't know, it's just like it life is like
There's
that. So when you're
yeah.
in those valleys, I guess, you know, peaks and valleys is very cliche about life, but it's very true. But when you're in those valleys, you just remind yourself of the blessings that you do have.
Yeah, that's what it's kind of tricky to describe. So when I'm not feeling motivated and I'm not feeling successful and like a worthless piece of crap most days, like I mean, like when I go through this, like the whole world just comes onto into my headspace, and I'm like, I'm failing my parents. I'm such a disappointment, and
Mm.
like it
You
just
see how far it goes, the rabbit
and
hole goes when you
it
start.
it goes so quickly. And I will also say that Satan knows that that's a weak spot that I have. He
Mm.
knows that achievement is something I value and that I strive for. And because I just happen to be in the the career field that is ever waxing and waning and never stable, it can wreak, he knows. And so I have to remind myself, kind of like what Ben Shapiro says, facts don't care about your feelings. The facts are
Mm.
God made me this way. The facts are that God has allowed me to come so far. He's given me talent and he's helped me develop my skills. And those are the facts. I believe I can see his fingerprints all through my life right now. And
Mm.
those are the facts. So when I go through these moments, when the feelings come, I have to remind myself of the facts. And it doesn't stop the way that I feel, but it helps me get to the next ridge, because Satan is a liar. And so when he tells me that I'm a worthless piece of crap, nobody cares about me, my art sucks, but, all the wonderful words that, come to mind, I have to remind myself that, he is a liar. God's got a plan for me. And then it's almost like it becomes a challenge too, when all of a sudden I can sense the oppression from without and sometimes from within. Then it's like, okay, challenge accepted. Do better. What can I do that would amplify and enhance what I already do? Why, if I think my artwork sucks, why does it suck? What do I need to do better? So ever learning, ever growing. I strive for success. I strive for achievement. And, again, bad and good days come and go, but it's just like, okay, let's just see where we can go. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, something will happen. And it's like, there it is again, God showing me, just one day at a time. And I really think he's just teaching me for something greater. Like, you need to trust this process because something's good is going to happen. I mean, that was like when you promoted my channel for the first time, and it was so surprising. It came out of nowhere. This was months ago.
Yeah,
you
I know.
are a nice guy. And you are. Well, so I was like trying to get my Etsy store up. I had like just like a couple of things, and then this picture here. And you were like, go check out our Etsy store and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, crap, I don't really have anything in my shop. And I remember a preacher listening to a speaker last year, and he was saying, you're asking God for blessings, but you're not preparing for them. And it was like, I've been wanting people to buy stuff from my Etsy shop, but I wasn't filling it with any product. So you then said, go check her out. And I'm like, I need to put stuff in the shop. And so I've been using that mentality and that process ever since then. Like, you got to prepare.
That is, we're gonna go back on that point. A wonderful woman in the chat says, do you do makeup tutorials? Your eyeshadow is on point.
I don't, because I'm not very good at it. Thank you for the compliment.
Well, obviously they want to know how you do your eyes, I guess.
Thank you. That's quite the compliment. I don't know that I have the patience for makeup art, or like that's not.
I think it all comes hand to hand. Last night, the guest I had on yesterday in the extra part of the conversation that many people didn't get to hear. It's interesting. We brought up he brought up a verse in the Bible in Romans. I think it's Romans 12. Basically, it's about renewing your mind. Like, you got to constantly renew your mind. And it's so, like, we just talked about that for just such a good minute, where it's like, it's so true. Like, you have to mentally renew your mind from fears and doubts and less, like, I don't have value, I'm not important, oh, my stuff isn't as good as that person, no one's buying my stuff, I'm a failure. Because, like I said, once you jump into that rabbit hole, it goes deep. I mean, it just like, it will pile on quick. Like, you'll go from, man, I don't like that thing that I made there, to,
I'm a
my
loser.
parents, I'm probably adopted. My parents hate me. Like, I mean, this whole thing. And oh, thank you, sir. Yeah, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yeah, and so like that first part is like transformed. So like being changed. So you got to be changed. So, and I think that is such a key moment in our life, is getting to that point of understanding how powerful your thought process and your mind is on where your life is headed, and being directed, and things like that. And I think for me, and I can only speak for myself, but like that counts as faith, that counts as motivation, my passion, all these things. You have to constantly renew your mind to transform to be the person that you were supposed to be. Because when you're the person you're supposed to be, I feel with everything in my heart, you are doing something that is changing the world to be better. You ain't got to be out, not everyone's supposed to be building orphanages. Not everyone's out supposed to be doing this. Like, not everyone's supposed to be famous, but have a bigger platform. It's like, you're supposed to be where you're supposed to be. And if you're doing that purpose that you were created to be, the world will naturally become better, because it's becoming better because you're doing what you're supposed to do to make the world better. I mean, it's like this whole, like, it's everything. But when you're not, and you're stuck in that hole, like, just
right. Well, because you affect the people around you too,
Yeah. I mean, people don't even want listen, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. I'm sorry. Like, I hope this doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. But me and my brother are like best friends. And when the whole family when we have those giant family meetings, we all we talk like, oh, there's Aunt so and so. If you see me talking to her, like, it's like, if you see me talking to her for more than 5 minutes, I'm gonna tug my ear. That means get me out. Like, I don't want to hear her nonsense. I don't want to hear her complaining. I don't want to hear her or Uncle whatever. There's Uncle Ralph. Dear God, I don't want to come near him. He looks like he smells from a mile away. What's wrong with him?
He looks like
and it's just, that's what I'm saying. It's like we all know, and it's like when your mindset is of no one likes me, I'm rejected, I'm a victim, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a that. It reflects, like you said, like, people pick up on it and they don't want to be around that negative energy. But here's the best part. Birds of a feather flock together is a true statement. Trust me. You see miserable people, they want to be miserable together. So you just go flock together over there. You see people that are like doing what you want to do in life. You want to like you see them like not necessarily thriving, but you see them beaming because they're living out their dream. It's like, go to those people, see what they're doing, ask for assistance, ask for, like, it doesn't hurt. That what's like it say? No, then that means you're in the same boat as you were before. But when it came to like podcasts or YouTube, I did the same thing. I just was like, all right, that guy's doing what I kind of want to do, so I'm just gonna watch. I'm gonna ask. If they answer, great. If not, no big thing. Before I started like a podcast, I took months asking people that do it, and not just like big ones, but small. Once I have a small following, once I have a big small following, and just learning, and stuff like that. So people that are listening now, just, I think that is huge for you if you change the way you think and get around people that inspire you, and that, because if you fall in that negative trap, like I said, birds of a feather flock together. You'll find other people that are miserable, and you'll sit at the miserable table. That's all I'm saying. It's like, you go to mom, I ain't sitting next to Aunt Betty. I ain't sitting next to Uncle Frank. Like, I'd rather sit at the kids' table talking Nintendo games. Like, I ain't doing that. All they're gonna do is cry and complain. I don't want to be around that.
I'd rather be at the kids' table.
Jack and 75 for 30. Here's 30 for Tabitha. I know the feeling it is to take time to get people to buy things you're selling. Definitely God wants the best for you and everyone, and I will do what I can to help in any way, starting with this. Well, thank you. Because I'm going to use that $30 to buy something from her store for myself when YouTube sends the money in. It'd be awesome. I don't know this person. He's kind of a troll, but I'm just kidding.
with a handsome smile.
Yeah, that's my good friend. Thank you for the $5. All I got to say is Tabitha's awesome. Glad I get to be buddies with her. She has awesome merch shop, by the way. Where have you been, man? We've only been talking about it for an hour. Where have you been? But so, tracking back, just a couple of questions. Because you were talking about being prepared. A farmer has to be prepared for the rainy season. We should always be prepared. If we're trying, like you said, you didn't know I was gonna tweet out your store. At the time, I had 23,000 followers on Twitter before Twitter took my Twitter away. And you just never know what's gonna happen. So, but in that, so going back and being prepared. What's your biggest fear in all that? Do you have a fear in all that?
Okay. I mean, like a lot of people, failure. But the biggest is rejection. Like I said, putting it out there and nobody wanting what you have to offer. And you putting your heart and soul into it. sometimes your tears, your sweat, literally, sometimes your blood, you get cut, man, you start doing stuff. And then you post it like either on, and that's the hard part. Like social media is a tremendous blessing, but it also can be one of your greatest curses, because you could post your art piece online and you get crickets, while other people are doing, and I'm not trying to hate on other artists, but you'll see other creative people doing the dumbest things and 20,000 likes or whatever, and people selling out, and you're like, I don't understand. I did so much, like I was so passionate about what I did, or like I was a couple of years ago before my understanding expanded. You'd be like, man, that just looked like somebody sneezed on it. This looks like a real person, like. And then you start understanding a little bit more of the process, and you're like, why can't I make it? And you just that's the biggest fear is rejection, for sure. I don't know if it's kind of a fear. It's a pet peeve. It's a fear for myself, is looking like an idiot. I don't like looking foolish, which is why it's very difficult for me to risk things. I hate looking like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why. That's just how I am. Like even with this right here, this podcast, when I saw on Instagram and you posted that, I'm like, that's so cool. I would love to. I can't tell you how many times I just looked at that and just kind of, if you will, walked past it. I'm like, he said, don't be shy, ask. And I'm like, does he really mean that? Maybe he means something else. I mean, you were plain as day with basically what you wrote. And so, you skirt around the issue. And so instead of actually messaging you and saying, hey, I would love to be on the podcast, I just sent a little emoji face to you. And I was like, if I
I could read. Yeah, I know.
In my brain, I was like, if I misread that, maybe he thought I meant to send the little heart face for one of his other posts. So that way I don't look like an idiot. And so when you messaged me, I'm like, oh my gosh, it paid off. I mean, the same thing is with the podcast that I'm on regularly with the guys inside the booth. It was such a risk to step out and do something with people I've never met before. I get very nervous about that. I feel like I'm going to embarrass myself or God or something. I don't like looking foolish. And so this year has really helped my art, because not just my art, like the experiences that I have in life have helped my art, because I'm putting myself out there, and it's like, this is just the name of the game. So I have to get over that fear of rejection, because the truth of the matter is I will get rejected by some, but you won't get rejected by all. So
now here's the thing about rejection. And DJ Direwolf, thank you for the $3 super sticker, man. I appreciate it. When it comes to our fears, it's like you have like a tree, right? Like it's one tree, can name everyone's fear that they have. Fear of speaking, fear of dying, fear of whatever, fear of this. But a lot of that fear all leads to rejection. For a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of it is like that's the peak. I don't like, you hear the number one fear in the world, which is bigger than death, which is really weird, is the fear of public speaking. That's the number one. You could look that up.
Heard that.
And why? Because they don't want to look dumb. They don't want to be rejected. They don't want so it all like adds up. Why don't you want to speak in public? Well, people are going to laugh at me. It basically comes back to rejection and all those things. So it's amazing how we have to get to this place in our life. And I hear your phone.
Sorry, I have it on silent.
It's an emergency. You can take it.
Nah, we're all
it's
good.
All right. Yeah, let's just all... Now I feel rejected, and that's a terrible
You have my
thing.
full attention.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay. We have to get to that. It's a constant battle where we have to get to that place of, like you said, where rejection is going to come. It always will. It always will be there. People will always have negative things to say, which will lead to like a rejection feel. But be able to just kind of smile and wave and know who you are as a person. If we know who we are as individuals, then it's okay to make fun of ourselves from time to time. Listen, I do it for a living from time to time. It's okay to laugh at ourselves. It's okay to laugh at, our own shortcomings and rejections.
I'm working on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a constant build, because there were things before that I was afraid to do because of rejection that I'll do now without a problem. But then there's the next thing, I overcame this fear of like reaching out to anyone. Like I'll just talk to anybody at this point, whether they reject me or not. It is what it is. I can move. I have this ability now to just flip the switch and go to the next person.
Must be nice.
It wasn't always like that though.
Okay.
It wasn't always like that. It's just something that you have to work on. But I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who I am as a person. I know who I am. That their rejecting of me will not change how I feel about myself. It never will. I don't care who you are. I mean, I can come in here and look at people I've hung out with, people that know my name that I never thought would know my name. I mean, Trump's press secretary's picture back there, Kaylee, people that know my name I never thought would know. I have a Sean Hannity, Gina Carano. Like, these are, like, I never thought in a million years. So it's kind of like, I don't care. Like you can reject me. It won't change. And that's one of the hardest things to get to for a lot of people in life, because once you've been deeply rooted, rejected, breakup, divorce, failed business, whatever you want to call it, it's a tough it's a tough one to get back to that place of not wanting to feel that pain again.
Yeah. Well, I grew up with people that, I say I grew up, I spent many years, impressionable years, with people that didn't understand my artwork, and ergo it was bad or it was stupid. And so you feel like you need to make art that everybody will approve of. And of course, as an artist, that's just not how it works. And so this year, finally, I've been doing art. I did art last year. It was really wonderful. So coming into this year, as 2020 really helped me. We all had a lot of time at home and to work on my art. And so the end of 2020, coming into this year, really helped me to see it's like, I just have to make what I want to make. And I have to be happy with what I make. I completely understand that not everything I make is going to want to be on a t-shirt or on someone's wall. I don't know if you saw that other video I did where I painted my very own book character, because I hope to one day write a book, and I decided to paint a character that would be the villain. And being in religious circles, religious circles, they can be very walking on eggshells. And I was really hesitant to post that video, because I didn't want people to look at me and think that I'm a demon worshiper, or that or that I was okay with demonic influences or something. He was a villain, for crying out loud. The person that I painted was a villain. It's supposed to look scary and intimidating. It's not like I was praising Satan. It was just, this is part of the imagination. God gave us an imagination for a reason. I think you have to be careful how you use it. But I posted that video and I felt so proud of myself, because it was like, I'm not doing this to try and force an opinion or change somebody. It was just something I was really proud of that I made. It like perfectly came from my brain to the canvas. And that's like in and of itself a little miracle. And just saying, forget what other people are saying,
It's not easy. That's the thing. We talk about like what keeps us motivated and what keeps us out of those pits of despair. But it's not easy. It's not easy. My man right here, like, thank you for the $5, Mr. Wong. I love this guy. He says, hey, Jesus was rejected by almost everyone, even by his close friends. So he understands what you're going through. Absolutely. And thank you for the 5. Christopher for 20 says, I hear you, Tabitha, about criticism and rejection. One time I wanted to show the famous comic artist Neil Adams my art. He said he'll pay me $20 not to look at it. I said, rip it apart as I threw money back at him. I learned a lot. I learned a lot by him. Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't, man, Christopher, that's rough. Yeah. That's the thing.
Sorry to hear that.
It doesn't matter what you do. You have to come to the conclusion that it doesn't matter what you do. People are going to criticize it.
Haters going to hate in the immortal world.
I mean, listen, I came back from oh my gosh, one of the countries I was over there. I want to say Haiti, but I don't think it was. I think it was Africa. Anyway, I came back to the States, and when I went to the customs agent was, if you travel internationally, you got to come through a customs agent when you come back to America from a plane. And he was like, what were you doing? I said, oh, I was in Africa. What were you doing over there? I was like, oh, we were building a water system to give people clean water. And he goes, I just got to tell you something. It makes me sick that you would go over there and work and won't do that for your own people in America. And then he handed my passport. And I was like, and I just went like, I just went, thank you. Because, that's like what you do. When you say goodbye, you're just like, okay, thank you. And then you walk and I'm like, did he really say that to me? Right. And I was like, oh my dang. Gosh. And it was just like, maybe he's having a bad day. Maybe they're just jealous that I got to go and he did. I don't know. It's like, you have to you just wonder why people would say that. The guy behind me who was with me heard what he said, and he was next in line. He told me, he's like, we need to fill out a report. We need to get that guy fired. I was like, man, it's like, I don't have time for that nonsense anymore.
Does the airport have a Yelp review?
I've been freaking in Africa eating terrible food for 2 weeks, man. I want a hamburger. I don't care about Billy Joe and his problems. It's like, I'm hungry. We're going to Wendy's, okay? I need a double stack now.
Right. Oh yes.
So, and it's just it's funny because then we had to go back and we spoke at some places because we were trying to raise money for whatever it was. And the guy kept telling that story, and I was like, his name is Steve. I was like, hey, don't share that. I don't care, because all you're doing is getting people riled up. Right. It's focusing on the negative. And I'm sitting here like, I don't even care. It's kind of funny. So, but hearing it over and over, it taught me, it's like, man, you can't even bring people clean water without somebody get upset. It's just
dare you? How dare you?
You have to learn, you put out the most beautiful thing in all the land, but in some people's eyes, it's ugly.
Well, they'll only see what they want to see.
Exactly. They don't listen. The other thing too, people don't see the hard work. Yeah. They don't see how much sweat you put into it. They don't see how much, you sacrifice. They don't see any of that. They just go, oh, you painted a picture. That's cool. What'd you use? Finger paint? You know what I mean? That's just, it's right.
They don't know you personally. They don't know if I have perhaps some kind of disability that would only enable me to do a certain kind of artwork. It's face value. That's it. And I think that's one of the hardest things too about art, is that it's always face value. It's not until you reach invested people, art critics that want to know more about the art than what you see. What were you feeling when you painted it? What was your inspiration? And that's really hard. So like I said, it's really interesting that God decided, with all of my insecurities, with my passion for success, my desire for abundance of money, God was like, you know what we're going to do? Let's make her an artist. And, but you know, I do. My mom has always said that I walk to the beat of my own little drum, and I am quite a stubborn little person. I try to be a stubborn person in a good way, and just work. I like the feeling of success. Success can come in different levels. You know, success can look like abundance of money to some people. Success can look like a happy marriage. Success can just, for me, a lot of times success is hard work rewarded in the outcome. You know, when I painted this over here, I didn't know that I had that skill, that talent necessary. I mean, I knew I had I knew I had the talent just because I knew that God had made me creative. But I didn't know that my skills had come to this point. And from this painting, I've been able to develop it more and more. And that's so rewarding, even though I didn't make any money from this painting. But it was recognized, which was, you know, awesome. I mean, even I have to say, because it was so thrilling, even Gina Carano liked it and commented on it. That was really amazing. I think I gasped out loud when that happened. But just making something beautiful is its own reward. Or something scary, like my human sacrifice gingerbread house. Because let me tell you, Jay, it looked fantastic. It looked really great.
You know what success is to me? Being at peace with yourself. And just having joy. You know,
that comes in waves for me.
You go through this. It does. I get it. Like, you need money to eat. I get it. It's just been around the world twice now, and seeing human suffering in different forms and trying to put an end to it in little ways that, you know, we tried to. It made me realize I just want to have peace, you know, peace of mind that there's running water in my house, you know, because I know with the 7 billion people in the world, a lot of people don't have that, you know, and so it's just you appreciate the little things when you see the bigger picture.
Right.
I think. What is your biggest what do you think is one of, not you have to name them all, one of your greatest personal achievements?
Hang on, let me look at my list.
Look
at my notes. I thought about that long and hard today, and it's kind of more of a life lesson that influenced my art rather than artwork itself. My greatest achievement was getting an A+, a 100% on my college math test. So a lot of people don't know. So
that's your greatest achievement?
Don't mock me.
I gotta get you out the house, man. Come on. There's gotta be like a mountain you need to climb.
There is. Okay, I've got several, and I thought about this long and hard, and there's a little story behind that. So I hang on now. I dropped out of school because I couldn't do math. I couldn't understand it. I didn't realize that at the time. This was before learning challenges were all cool and popular. So and people knew that they really existed. Like, everybody was familiar with dyslexia. Well, apparently there's something like that for numbers. It's called dyscalculia.
Yeah.
And
I know it well.
Okay. And I couldn't do, I say I couldn't. I could do, you know, addition and subtraction. I could do multiplication, but it takes me so long and I forget so quickly. And so anything beyond that was just like, you start getting into the decimals. And I know a lot of people have that problem with math, you know, fractions and stuff, but like even basic stuff, I just couldn't remember it. I can't really do math in my head, and I can't even do it really well on paper. And so I just dropped out. I'm like, I'm stupid. I convinced myself because everybody stared at me when I was like, I can't do math. I'm several years behind in school, and so I just convinced myself that I was stupid, and and that art was basically the only thing I could do because it didn't require math, which again, later on I found out does, because you need the business aspects. And depending on what kind of project you're working on, you need to measure. Nobody tells you that part. But, so long story short, all that self-loathing, feeling like an idiot, all that, never graduating, another achievement. I wasn't normal. That was the other thing too. I was always different. And I felt like that was wrong. And so when I I was able to get into college. I don't know how. I didn't have to take an entrance exam or anything like that. But I started doing art classes. And eventually I was like, I want to be able to say I graduated. I want that stupid piece of paper that says, you're not stupid. And that was for me. I know some people just look at it like, whatever, it's just a piece of paper. You don't have to.
This is for you, not for some people. So
right. And so I paid for my own math classes, things that I needed.
Wow.
For college. And the first math class that I took, I had a really great teacher. She was no nonsense, but she was very compassionate. And I have to brag, because not brag from like look at me, but like I'm so excited because I worked my butt off. I mean, the day before the final test, and I've never gotten an A in math in my entire life. The day before the final test, I studied for 8 hours straight. I mean, I'm literally talking tears to understand what I was doing. And the day that I took the test, she divided it in half. And so the front half of the paper we had to do without our calculator, and the back half of the paper we were allowed to, if she approved of the first half, we were able to go up and get our calculator. I did the entire test without needing a calculator, and I got 100% correct.
Look at you. Congratulations.
And thank you. I was going to have that framed and everything. I'm like, and so what that has to do with my art is that if you really want to, and even more with beyond artwork, if you really want to do something, you can. It's going to hurt, most likely. It probably won't come easy. It might not even be within your natural wheelhouse. But I proved to myself that day, and I forgot pretty much everything that I learned because of me and numbers. but I did it. And so I look at my artwork and things that I've been able to do now, and it is a struggle, very much so. People don't understand you. They don't know what makes you tick. They don't know about my multiple personalities. And but I can do it. I really believe, like in my heart of heart, whatever it is, the success that I'm striving for, I can do it because I was able to get that 100% in math.
All right. Okay. So I take it back. I take back what I said. I took math in college and I'm like, this is dumb. C minus all the way through. It's like, I just did it enough to like get the credit number, you know? It's like, I wasn't going for the dean of awards. I wasn't going for valedictorian or any of these special beads. I didn't even go to my graduation. I was like, I'm done. Mail me that paper. I did half of my college while I was in Haiti, like sweating on a laptop. Yeah, I was like, I'm so sick of this. I'm done. So yeah, by the time I got to like the last 8 classes, I'm like, oh man, I just want this over with. I was taking classes I just did not care about, but I, you know, like you said,
I was like that in French class. Like by the end of the semester, I was like, okay, so I'm a nerd and a geek and whatever else you want to say. I love learning. Absolutely love school. I'm one of those people, even though I dropped out. I never stopped learning. Well, and that was the thing too, because of the fact that I didn't want people to know that I had dropped out. I didn't want people to know that I was stupid. So I read a lot and I increased my vocabulary exponentially. And so nobody, because they always say, you don't judge a book by its cover, but nobody suspected for years that I was a high school dropout, didn't have a not a certificate, what's it called?
Yeah.
A piece of paper. I can't even think of the words now. Nobody
Degree.
suspected it because I'm a very knowledgeable person, and that was my facade. I didn't want them to know what my weakness was. So when I went to school, it was just like, I love A's. I told you I'm an achiever. Like, I was like, I don't care. I will be the teacher's pet. I want my A+. But when it came to French class, I was like, I will take the C. Like, I can't do this. Like, I even was like that. I was like that when going into math, because I knew that I couldn't do it. And
I
lo
think,
and behold, I did it.
I think what you've taught anyone here today, like, that have some determination, some drive,
And some
like you
tissues.
said, set your mind to it, get going. Hey, don't stop. And now you're at this place where are you happy where you're at right now? Or is it like, nah, I'm not settling. I got a couple more.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm in a place of contentment because I am happy with how things are going, but I'm not satisfied because I have big goals, big dreams for myself that I'm really excited about.
I think that's so important. I have like a goals board where it's like I got weekly, monthly, and yearly. And I changed the weekly every week. I changed the monthly every month. And then like the yearly, you kind of look at it and like, I think I got that one done. And it's just a constant, oh man, we artist people. I don't know if I consider myself an artist, but a lot of artist people think so differently. It's like you see the world differently.
You see the world.
You just see it. You just see things differently than people that think more logical see the world. It's
like your
quite
eyebrows.
unique.
I'm probably the only person in the world that has complimented your eyebrows.
Exactly. It's like you just see things. You see things differently. I'm at this place. It's excuse me. I'm at this place now where it's I just see the world so beautiful. Like I don't know why. Maybe it's just every little thing. Like I get caught up like watching the wind blow the leaves. It's like, am I like really getting that old? And then, but it's, hiking up mountains and going to places I've been before and like appreciating the little things. Like, and sometimes it just seems like the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, like smiles down because like I would go places and all of a sudden, like last time I was in St. Augustine not too long ago, and the St. Augustine beach is kind of like, it's not the greatest, but we were there and all of a sudden like a whole school of dolphin just hung out with me for a little bit, and the person I was with, and it's just like that was such a cool, and it was like the last day I was there. It was such a cool moment, and they were chasing fish and they were jumping and all that stuff. And it was like your own little show.
Yeah.
And I just know like years ago, I was in such a hurry to do stuff and to like, you just didn't stop and appreciate the things that were already around you. So,
I mean, that does come with age. I mean, it's not a
there's
slight.
the age thing again. Yeah, Jay, you're freaking old. Like when you're older, that's what you do. You're like, my time on earth is almost done. I better watch the wind blow.
No, I'm the same way. Look, it's not like I mean not to say, look, you've got one of your people. I say one of your people, he's one of my friends too, like Phil, TMNT. Like he calls me a boomer all the time, and I really resent that. I don't like getting older. So when he calls me that, but you do learn to appreciate as you do get older. Like I think it's a beautiful thing. It's not a slight in any means that.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, a lot of people don't though.
Oh, really?
A lot of people don't appreciate their surroundings. A lot of people, I talk to a lot of people, they're just constantly in, I work, I go home, I watch TV, I go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. Maybe I'll take a vacation. Well, what are you going to do in your vacation? Well, I'm so tired. I just want to go somewhere and sit.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it just gets like that. And we get caught in these hideous routines that we were never supposed to be in my opinion. I get it. We all got to work. People love their careers, and that's wonderful. We got rent to pay. We got bills to pay. We got light bills to pay. So you got to make money for all that. But I just think that there is a whole world out there that is waiting for the gifts that you have to make the world a better place, such as like what you do. And
I don't know if it makes the world a better place, but
see, there you go again. Like, you gotta stop. It does. I know. I believe it does. I know. You're just playing, but I'm just saying. Like, I think if we're all walking in our giftings, like you are, it really does. It really does. I mean, I don't think I would have recognized what you were doing, you know, if I didn't think it was important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the other thing too. We were talking about like how we discovered each other. Like, I'm not really sure what it was. There was just something about you that I saw on Twitter, and I think it led to your YouTube channel. And it was just like, there's something cool about this guy. So I don't know what it was that you.
Eyebrows, just get some going. But I like that's, and we'll probably close this section out in just a second, but that's the thing. I really want people to understand that not everyone is built. Everyone has a gifting, and it doesn't matter how old or young you are. Like, you have something, and it could be just as simple as listening to people.
Oh, yes.
There's people that just need someone to listen to. My gosh, man, in South Florida, there is a clinic. Now, I don't know. I haven't been back there in a few years, but I know there was a clinic where they needed people to go and hold babies. That's it.
Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah.
And it's like, you could change the life of a child by just volunteering your time and holding a baby, because they didn't want these homeless children to be locked in, you know, just to stay in a crib all like while they're trying to figure it out. And so there's just a uniqueness of all of us putting our gifts together to make this beautiful picture that makes the world better. So as long as you're still walking in what you're supposed to be doing and fighting the challenges and keep going and keep doing things, you know, I believe that's what I believe. I believe it makes the world. I believe you're making the world better. I see there's people in the chat. I know exactly what gifting they're walking at. I know it makes the world better. It brings people a smile. Like, people don't smile anymore. People don't laugh.
No.
Pop culture stinks. I mean, the movies have been bad. It's like everything is politics now, and it's like, it's awful.
It's weary.
It's awful.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just
especially
like,
if you live in the cities.
Oh man. And you know. But yeah, so that's it. That's it. Any final words of, like, what words of encouragement would you give to someone that might be thinking about maybe painting or doing something?
Okay. I would say one of the biggest pitfalls when you're a blooming, budding artist is that you're always comparing yourself to other people's artwork. You have to trust the process. You have to trust the process. You shouldn't compare. How to word this? It is okay to compare your artwork to somebody else's if you're wanting to learn how to do something to grow. It is not okay to compare your artwork if you're not at a level that somebody else is. You know, I was a young art as far as the level of artistry that I was doing. I was very young in that. So me comparing that to like even to what I'm doing today, you again, like you said, you don't see the hours spent. You don't see the erasing and the thrown away canvases out of frustration. You only see the end result. And so if you are artistic, if you're creative in any way, it doesn't matter if it is writing. I do that too. I do everything, man. It doesn't matter if it's sculpting, writing, painting. You're always having to start at the bottom. Even if you're talented, you have to understand that there's a big difference between talent and skill. Talent is what you have from within, but you have to hone the craft. You have to hone in your skills. I am naturally talented at artistic stuff, but I did not have the skills to paint a dress until recently. And so it is okay to compare your artwork with somebody else's, as long as you're not, again, trying to compare skill levels, just maybe the genre, like the chibis or something like that. Just compare. It's like, okay, the key character's eyes are too big, or how did they do this? Let me compare mine with that. And then also leave room for growth and developing your own style. That's another big thing that a lot of artists struggle with is, I can't find my style. If you go looking for it, you will never find it. You just have to make and make and make and copy other people until all of a sudden you're like, when I make my chibis, I'm not exactly sure what makes them different than other people's, but there's something different about it. And that's just the way that it is. Stop looking for your look. It'll just come out. It's just stop looking for it. It'll drive you mad. So we all have to start somewhere. So never compare yourself to somebody who's been doing it for 5, 10, 15 years as far as skill level goes. Because you'll get there. Just gotta practice. I always tell adults too. They always get frustrated when I would teach them at the studio. And they're like, oh, I'm not an artist. Why do you expect yourself to be good at something if you've never done it before? You know, and I help them. I think art is very therapeutic. It's life skills. There's so many life skills that you can learn in artistry. And it's like children, when they are born, do not know how to walk, but you don't expect them to just walk because they're human.
Yeah, great point.
Adults have the hardest time. We're so accustomed by the time we're adults to know how to do things that if we start something new, like a podcast or even a video game or something like that, you're not going to be very good at it. You might have the talent, but you don't have the skills, and that's okay. You'll get them. So there, I'll just cut it off right there.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. I love that's right. You don't expect children to walk right when they're born.
I'm not good with summarizing. I have to like.
No. I think what you said is perfect. Like it's so true. It's so true. I mean, it's just a constant working on the craft, but it's working on a craft that you love. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. It's working on the craft.
Well, it's also good to work on a craft that you don't love, because it will reveal to you that this is not what you need to be doing, or what can you do to make it different, to make it your own. Because that's one way you develop your style.
So I don't consider trying something new a craft I don't love. I'll consider that as like trying something new. If I don't really like something, it's like when I cook food and I'm like, oh, I'm not eating that. You know, I'm not gonna go back to it and like try it again. I might change it up a little bit, but yeah.
See, you change it up again.
All right, you're right. You got me on that one. Okay. You got me on that one. Got me on that one. You got me on that. You're right. But like, you ever? I'm just saying. And I don't really make that many bad stuff, but sometimes. So
sometimes it'd be.
All right, Tabitha, you just hang out for just 1 second or a few minutes. Thank you, mods. Can you please put her channel and her Etsy store in the chat, please? And we're going to continue the conversation. If you want to hear more, check out our Patreon, become a channel member. That's where you're going to find the rest of the conversation, where we're going to talk about your faith a little bit. just a little bit.
That's fine.
We'll see.
I'm not ashamed.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you all for being here. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening. We hope you were inspired today. To hear more of the conversation, check out our Patreon or become a member of the channel. And don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really appreciate it. We'll catch you in the next episode. And welcome to the Rebellion.